If you were to design a website, which would you choose, ChatGPT or Claude? Today I'm testing them head to head, but with a twist. I'll give them an incomplete brief and see which one discovers the gaps I left out on purpose. Most of you look at AI and wonder, are they really worth it? Do they just spit out text, or can they really support our creative process? I've been using AI for over a year in my work, and here's the truth. It's not about replacing our creativity, it's about amplifying it. So today, we're testing the free versions of ChatGPT and Claude, and the end goal is to figure out which is more useful when you're just starting out. Here's the brief I'm giving both. A sustainable fashion startup needs a simple website to share their values and sell their first products. And that's it. Zero details about sections, features, and target audience. And the test is which tool will discover what's missing, which will ask the right questions that as a designer should have asked from the start. And we will also explore some limitations of each tool. At the end, let's compare what you can use as a starting point. ChatGPT, Claude, or both. On the left-hand side, we have ChatGPT, and on the right-hand side, we have Claude. And since we are using the free versions of it and we don't have a specific agent to act as a UX designer for this collaborative way, we need to prompt the ChatGPT and Claude to act as an experienced UX UI designer. So I have already this prompt prepared, and let's test it. So the expectation here is that both of them respond that we are ready and prepared to act as an experienced designer. So then I will paste the brief. I pasted the brief, the incomplete brief, and let's see what they respond. So ChatGPT, what's missing from the brief, target audience, brand positioning, tone and identity. So it suggests already some questions that I could ask to the client, and he's suggesting already pages and sections. So pretty cool. So for the free version, you get already here a lot of information. And if you don't have complete briefing from your client, you can use these questions and send it to the client. Claude does pretty much the same. So what's missing? Business context, brand foundation, product details. In terms of structure, here it's everything in the same paragraph. Then you have essential questions I will ask. So also like ChatGPT. As a starting point, you have already here a lot of information. Then they, in the end, suggest, would you like me to map this into a draft sitemap plus wireframe flow? Claude, what resonates most with your vision so far? On the ChatGPT, it gave us a clear direction for the next step. And Claude, it has a very open question that we could decide which path we will go forward. But I have already here another prompt because I want to test the web search capabilities of each. So as a next step, imagine that I don't have so much time to wait for these questions to be answered from the client and I want to start already doing my designs. I can send the questions, and while I'm waiting, I can already do my research. So as a second step, now I need you to do a competitive research. Give me 5 examples of well-designed and sustainable fashion websites, current UX UI trends for eco-friendly e-commerce in 2024-2025, key design elements, common mistakes, and let's send to both and see what we got. Okay, so ChatGPT thinking longer for a better answer. Claude is already doing the research and giving the results. So here you have 5 well-designed and sustainable fashion websites. You have Everlane, Reformation, Patagonia. They don't have the source. So I would like to click and go directly to the site. I have this one, but it seems that send me to a blog post, then current UX UI trends, common mistakes to avoid, practical applications for your project. Okay, and then it suggests me how can I applicate this on my project. The key is balancing aspiration with authenticity. Which of these insights feel most relevant to your startup positioning and target audience? Here I will need to figure out what makes sense for my target audience and how do I want to position my website for my client or my challenge in this case, and I would give here the instructions. Let me look now at the ChatGPT. So ChatGPT also suggests Patagonia, all birds. You may see that he gives here also the sources. Some directly to the page of the website, which is what I'm expecting. I don't want to go to Google and search for these sites. I want a direct click. Then current UX UI trends, also with some suggestions here, key design elements. Okay, there's a lot of information here that as a starting point for your research while you are waiting for more information from your client, it's pretty cool for you to start already with some things. So if you want, I can turn this into a wireframed flow homepage. Okay, I don't want this everything, but I want to have a layout structure. So I have also here another prompt to have the layout structure, pretty similar to what ChatGPT is already recommended. So I will ask for this detailed layout structure for this sustainable fashion website. So I want to provide a sitemap, homepage layout, product structure, key navigation elements, and mobile first considerations. I will send this to ChatGPT and also to Claude. We are having here a sitemap on the left hand side. Claude is also doing the thing here. And as you can see on Claude, it's interesting that they divide their screen. So you have here the chat you are having with Claude, and then you have this kind of document component that you click and it expands and you see here working in the component. This is pretty handy when you are iterating a lot of documents. So it's cool because otherwise you get like ChatGPT, a long conversation message here. And if you want to go back to the previous conversation, you need to scroll a lot. So I think it's pretty interesting the way they organize here. Okay, so until now they are pretty much similar about the tasks they are doing. So I think it's fine if you consider to use only ChatGPT or only Claude, because they are doing pretty much the same thing. Of course, there are nuances here from one to another, but in a nutshell, they are pretty similar in regards to what they are delivering. Okay, now let's focus on one page. I will ask to give me UX copy for the landing page so that I can then go to Figma, design the approaches that they will recommend, and then I will come back to have a design critique from each of them. As you can see, Claude is already doing again on the right hand side. He divided the screen, and ChatGPT is also here generating the copy for the landing page. Okay, so ChatGPT ended, Claude still doing, so I think that it's a lot of UX copy for just a landing page, but I will not iterate here because we are also working in the free version and we have message limits. So I will not iterate here so much just for the sake of this video. Then Claude also mentions here what he has done for this document. So it's kind of summary of what's here, and while ChatGPT has everything in the same message like we saw. Now that we have a lot of information from the research, the structure and layout for our website, and also the text for the landing page and structure, let's see if they can also help us creating the branding. Let's imagine that we don't know the colors to use. Let's ask to suggest a mood board. And here ChatGPT can also generate images even in the free version. So I will ask him to generate a mood board. So generate a mood board with images, text style, and colors for the website. And ChatGPT will start generating this mood board, but Claude doesn't do the same thing. So it doesn't have image generation, but let's prompt the same thing and see how he will respond. Probably it will be on text, but let's see. Okay, so he's creating kind of a HTML file. So ChatGPT generated this image with DALL-E and suggests already the look and feel of how the photography could work, how the typography also can behave, the types of background, the types of colors. That's really cool that you can guide from here and designing your website. And in the other hand, Claude doesn't have image generation, but it generated a code of these UI elements and colors and guidelines, and it's really cool also the way they approach. So you have the color code here, where can you apply, so body text, subtle elements, the typography, so it suggests already interfont, playfair display, where do you use it, visual style direction, also some UI components. So it's very completed already how you can use this information to apply to your designs. This simplifies a lot your work. So if you doesn't have any clue how to start the project, by using just these minimal iterations, you get already a lot of information here that now you can start designing on Figma. And that's the thing I will do. So now I will use all the copy that Claude and ChatGPT provided for the landing page, for the home page, and I will create it on Figma. Then I will come back to ChatGPT and Claude and ask them to do a design critique, so to see what will be the response. So here are the two designs. On the left hand side, the design made with the suggestions of ChatGPT that I created on Figma. On the right hand side, the suggestions based on Claude. So now I will add these images to each of them, but I will ask them to act as a critical designer stakeholder reviewing this website concept and see what they will come up. So as you can see, you can use them for iterating new ideas, but if you have already some design, you can also use it to critique your own designs. So let's prompt it for each and see what they can do. So does this layout effective communicate sustainability and trust? Are there any gaps in the user experience? What might confuse or frustrate potential customers? So I want that ChatGPT or Claude analyze and go deeper on my designs. And you are already seeing one limitation on Claude. We will talk about it later. So ChatGPT gave us already the feedback. So does this layout effective communicate sustainability and trust? He gives me strengths and gaps. So for example, no hard evidence of sustainability. Sustainability message is front-loaded but not reinforced on product cards. Are there any gaps in the user experience so the navigation doesn't highlight filters or badges? So as you can see, you have here some improvements that you can use this to improve your design. And this is really, really great. I'm not sure if you are getting the idea here, because the interesting point here is that you made the discovery phase using ChatGPT and Claude to get more information, to have a more robust understanding of the challenge you have to do it. Then you evaluate by yourself, do your interactions with chats, and then design your own application or website, doesn't matter. So you design based on what you perceived and what you understand of it, and then you can go back to ChatGPT or Claude and iterate on it. So you can ask what opportunities, what improvements, or what gaps are on your designs, and then improve on it. This is really, really cool. So ChatGPT gives the answer, but Claude is thinking here. So I will prompt again, and due to unexpected capacity constraints, Claude is unable to respond to your message. Please try again soon or consider upgrading Claude Pro. These are the kind of limitations that you could have when you are using the free versions of it. Either if it's a lot of people using it at the same time, maybe you can have response times that will take longer, or you also have the limits of message that you can use every day. So then let's go here to Claude, and as you can see, it didn't prompt, so let me try it out again. Okay, now it worked. 1 or 2 minutes before it doesn't work, but now it's working. So maybe the usage it's lower right now. And it also gave me here the results to improve and find opportunities and gaps in the designs. So yeah, these are some things that you might consider when you are using the free plans of it. And with that, we can talk about the limits of usage in ChatGPT and Claude on free plans. So you can have until 10 to 60 every 5 hours on ChatGPT, and Claude you have more or less 40 short messages a day, so it resets every 24 hours while ChatGPT resets every 5 hours. The context window, you have a lot of more tokens in Claude compared to ChatGPT, and image generation, you have 2 to 3 images per day on ChatGPT, and Claude doesn't provide this. File uploads, you can upload 3 files every 24 hours on ChatGPT, and on Claude it's limited, so it depends on the impacts that the message can allow. Voice browsing, it's limited, and not available on Claude, and the API access, it's not included either on ChatGPT and Claude free plans. After I use both tools, here's what I think. There's no absolute winner. There are right tools to the right moments. So Claude Free is strong in storytelling, mission, values. When I need narrative depth, I use Claude. ChatGPT, I think it's stronger in structure, practical features, clear organization. So I use it when I need clarity and efficiency. And I also like the image generation from ChatGPT. So when I need some images, I go to ChatGPT. And the trick here is to know when to use each one in your process. If you are starting with AI in design, here's my two-step framework. The step one is I use Claude when you need to expand vision and add narrative depth. And as a step two, use ChatGPT when you need clarity, quick lists, and practical structure. So in practice, always start with Claude to create emotional foundation of the project, then go to ChatGPT to organize everything into something executable. In the next video, we'll see what happens when we use the pro versions of Claude and ChatGPT with agents, projects, and advanced features. If you want weekly frameworks on how to integrate AI into your design process, join my free newsletter, The Desk of a Dream Engineer. Every week, I share methods and what I've been testing and learning along the way. And if you are testing this on your own project, tell me in the comments. I love seeing how other designers are using these tools. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day.